And I'm now being joined on the news at 10 by Dr. Dakwa Thomas of the Department of History and International Studies at the Lagos State University. Well, I'm just going to go straight and ask you, do you think that the Sudans are heading for an all-out war? Because that's the fear now.
No, well, I think the fear is unfounded because the two warring parties have been able to, well, not reconcile politically, but I think the two of them have decided to go to the negotiating table to continue with the dialogue, which was suspended, or which ordinarily should be a continuous, a kind of process, but which later was suspended as a result of certain exigencies. Now, the South Sudan, and I think the president now, Salva Kiir, has decided that he was going to withdraw the troops, in 3 days. And that statement was made on Thursday. So by Friday, we had a lot of jingoism, a lot of defiance, and all sorts of things from the Sudanese president, that's Omar Bashir. So invariably when they withdraw, you understand, although there has been some destruction taking place in the place, the central producing facility has been damaged, allegations of South Sudan blowing up the place, and then Sudan also saying that, okay, it was a deliberate act because of the withdrawal position.
The main concern now is Heglig, but understandably South Sudan has more of the natural resources that Sudan possesses. The North actually depends on the South for much of the resources to develop the North, which is what was the situation before the South succeeded. Yeah. But is it fair that South Sudan succeeded with all of the resources and has the little one that the North eventually was able to call out for itself, it wants to take that over that one?
No, actually, I don't think they had the intention of taking over Heglig. What they actually wanted to do was to call attention, the international community, to the pockets of bombardments, because we are seeing a situation where a ton of planes, fighter jets, MiG fighter jets are being sent, into South Sudan for certain bombardments.
So you're saying it's not about
No. Because they are withdrawing. They deliberately occupy that place. Don't forget that they have already gone with most of the oil fields. Sudan has just 115,000 barrel per day oil production. They went with about 350,000. The South Sudan went with about 350,000. So there is no point for them to say they now want to occupy or they want to appropriate Heglig, to themselves now. They just used that to invite attention because certain series of bombardments or some pockets of bombardment had been taking place, which the international community had been overlooking. So with this action now, people now saw that, they took that decisive action so that the world would be attracted to what is happening now in Southern Sudan. And that you can see that the president of US, you can see that UN, all of them, they have intervened, and that's why they want to withdraw. At least they have been able to generate attention.
Well, whenever there's conflict like this in most African countries, you find that, the part that actually has a problem, the fact that feels that it is being deprived of the benefits of its resources, usually wants to succeed. We've seen it happen in Mali, we've seen it happen, in some parts of Nigeria, and now South Sudan has succeeded. Is it better? Are things better?
Well, if
South
they make
Sudan on its own,
if they really get down to the basics, because for now I think that they should divert attention, or they should concentrate attention and their energies on development programs, because we still have issue of poverty, refugees, hunger, disease, and all sorts of things, looming. And by the time you are concentrating much on war or bombardment and all sorts of things, then what time do you have for development programs? You have just seceded. So you need time. You don't have to create distractions for yourself again. your focus now should shift to development programs, so that at least at the end of the day, people will see that you are better off now than when you are in Sudan. But you have to take the initiatives. You have to do certain, you have to generate certain ideas about development, either infrastructure, and it is the problem of lack of infrastructure that they have, and that is why they are paying so much, because their oil has to pass through this transit line, of Sudan, and that is why that's very difficult for them, because they are alleging that for this oil to pass through Sudan, they are paying so much, and Sudan said, well, there's nothing we can do. That's that's the market price. So if you don't do that, if you don't concentrate on development programs, then you are going to find yourself in trouble.